Cadence of Conflict, Asia, March 30, 2020. Blame. Both general theories about where this virus originated fail to do two things. They don't acquit anyone, and they don't tell us how to treat it. The theories no longer seem to matter since fear has taken over the world. Initially, we had a theory that the virus passed from wildlife to humans at a kind of so-called exotic meat market in Wuhan, a city in China. Then, a Chinese government official, later seen as a lone wolf not speaking for the pack, blamed the U.S. Army specifically, as opposed to the U.S. military or CIA as the usual conspiracy theory suspects go. We'll look at the Army's place in Chinese politics later. Upon review, there is a convincing case that the 2019 NCOV had its origin at a military laboratory and got out into the American public last summer before the CDC shut down that laboratory. But this still doesn't explain how it would have gotten to Wuhan. And both China and the US still face scorn for cover-ups and delayed response. Then we have China's negative PR campaign. Two, actually, blaming the US Army feeds Chinese Kook theory because the Chinese military is called the Army. Even China's Navy is called the People's Liberation Army Navy. It seems from the outset as intended to tip Chinese cultural sentiment against America, not intending to be based in fact. Now, a few weeks later, the Chinese people fear foreigners, Westerners and black people. Old Chinese superstition still lingers that black people are cursed by the gods or by nature because black is the bad color in their culture. As anti-foreign sentiment grows in China, the world grows more irritated with China. And as the WHO digs its heels in on keeping Taiwan out, the world sees China controlling too much of the world through its deep pockets, a concern the international finance community had brought up from an article from Harvard Business Review, How Much Money Does the World Owe China? When a WHO official hung up on an interview twice, we see that Harvard's curiosity wasn't irrelevant. The world is responding in hatred toward China with such venom. People beat up Asians of any nationality, even those without any connection to China. Yes, the world propped up China for a grand fall into global disfavor. But China still hasn't done anything to help itself. One little virus, no matter where it came from, was all it took to push the world over the brink. And that is the cadence of the conflict already seen in the Pacific.